Good evening and welcome. On a day the Prime Minister finally breaks his silence after unprecedented protests and violence in the heart of Delhi, another shocker. The Congress Andhra chief's deeply sexist remarks. He says, "We say we got freedom at midnight, but that doesn't mean we can roam free around at midnight." Tonight, can politicians with medieval mindset save India's women? And we also look at the larger issue. As the Prime Minister and Home Minister break their silence following the violence in the heart of Delhi, are the government's damage control measures enough? I'm Vishnu Shob. Now our top story. Finally, after days of silence when thousands of protesters were involved in pitched clashes with the police, the Prime Minister has finally broken his silence. And spurred by the massive public outrage, the process for speedy justice against rape victims will now be a reality. But public opinion against the government is strong, and the fact that no one was there to reach out to the protesters when the heart of Delhi burnt has not been forgotten.
As a father of 3 daughters myself, I feel as strongly about this as each one of you. Anger at this crime is justified, but violence will serve no purpose.
आपको लगता है उनको आना चाहिए ये उनकी भी कोई बहू बेटियां उन्हें अपने वो भी एक समाज का हिस्सा है तो एक आम जन के हिस्से में उन्हें यहाँ पे आना चाहिए हमसे बात करनी चाहिए.
With public pressure mounting and demands for speedy justice growing shriller, the Delhi police said that they would file the charge sheet in the gang rape case in a week. The Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court told NDTV all sexual harassment cases would be fast-tracked. 5 fast-track courts would be notified early next month, and cases would be heard on a day-to-day basis.
This is a very old my-bap style of politics. Why can't the government go to the people?
The government should not go to the agitators. Their representatives were coming to me. They met me in my office.
You cannot have representatives of a mob like this, protesters like this. He would have just come out with a speaker and a mic, spoke to the public.
After all the violence on Saturday and Sunday, finally government ministers came out to assure action. Home Minister Sushil Kumar Shinde held a press conference to say that all necessary action is being taken. The Prime Minister made a televised statement assuring action. But the question that needs to be asked is whether this was a case of too little, too late. These protesters say that they are not satisfied with the response of the government and they feel that the government should have come out much earlier and assured these protesters of action.
सरकार इमीडिएटली विशेष सत्र बुलाए संसद का और इस पर कड़े से कड़ा कानून बनाए.
The Home Minister also turned down demands by the opposition for an all-party meeting and a special session of Parliament to discuss stricter punishment for crimes against women. Remarks that drew sharp reactions both from the right and the left.
महिलाओं के प्रति उत्पीड़न के मामले पूरे देश में जिस तरह से हो रहे हैं, वो गुस्सा सड़कों पर फूटा है और इसलिए बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है कि सरकार इसका तुरंत संज्ञान ले.
He's talking about the country's prestige because Russian president is coming. Country's prestige is not affected if a 23-year-old girl is gang raped in a moving bus in the capital city at 7 o'clock in the evening.
On the ground, there is concern over whether a genuine protest over many issues that relate to the gang rape of a 23-year-old girl have been diverted by those fringe elements bent on creating trouble, leading to all the chaos and violence over the last 2 days. In New Delhi, Alok Pandey, NDTV.
Well, let's just go straight across to NDTV's Uma Sudhir, who's got reactions coming in on those shocking remarks made by the Congress chief in Andhra Pradesh, who said that we won our independence at midnight, but women shouldn't be allowed to roam around at midnight. Is that what he said? I know he did apologize, Uma, but how could anybody, a responsible political leader, make such remarks at any stage, not least of all now, when Delhi and so many parts of the country is completely aghast at that horrific rape case?
Yes, Vishnu, he was addressing a press conference, in fact, at Gandhi Bhavan, which is the Congress headquarters in Andhra Pradesh. He was trying to impress upon the media people that Sonia Gandhi had taken pains to go out and talk to those protesters and take an initiative to see what kind of changes could be brought in the law. That's when he seems to have got carried away and said that even those people need to think about whether this girl should have been travelling at that time of the night in a private bus. Incidentally, he also happens to be the transport minister in Andhra Pradesh, controlling the entire fleet of APSRTC buses here in Andhra Pradesh. I have with me many people who are quite angry at what he has said.
I feel the comment made by the minister was quite ridiculous, as he says that conditions and terms for these people, when to move out, when to move around and all this, which is quite not possible. You see, I am having a young daughter here, and where she has to move around, if at all she has to study and get in a life and to give in career, then she has to move out at odd hours of the day and night, and minister has to see that he must ensure the safety measures and how he can empower all of us women and also the young girls of this country. He should give a responsible statement rather than just telling conditions how to move around, when to move and all these things. I think it's not good on his part to speak in this way.
As a young person who uses private buses, sometimes perhaps also public buses, do you feel angry that somebody who controls the transport ministry is also saying something like this?
Yeah, definitely.
At a time when the country is burning, and you yourself were telling me that your college, you were protesting as well.
Yeah, definitely, because I'm supposed to be given the freedom to move in public place, to be moving all around, and I have college to go to every morning. So if someone like a minister is telling me that it's just because I have the freedom I can't move out, then I don't know whom to depend on now. It's totally hopeless. But I'm not going to just give in to that, because he can't just take away my rights like that. He's supposed to tell the people out there that it's our right to move around in public places in transport. So it's really disappointing some ministers telling like that to young girls.
So obviously, very, very angry voices, in fact, coming in from women's groups as well, who said that, this minister seems to forget that women now are in such professions where you can't really keep a 9-to-5 schedule if he thinks that is what ensures the safety of women. Back to you, Vishnu.
All right, Uma, thank you very much for joining us and getting us those quick reactions. There'll be many more reactions coming in. Hopefully, leaders at the centre in the Congress party are listening to what that leader had to say. How can this be tolerated in any context, not just because of what's happening now in Delhi, but at any stage? Remarks like that by a senior leader, completely unacceptable. Joining us to discuss not just those remarks, but whether or not the Prime Minister, the government, is acting too late or has come out too late in speaking out about the violence in Delhi and the larger issue. Chandan Mitra, Rajya Sabha MP of the BJP, Kirti Singh, senior advocate with the Supreme Court and legal convener of IDWA, Javed Akhtar, the lyricist and poet and Rajya Sabha MP, Ajay Chaudhary, the ACP Southeast Delhi, Jessica Jojo, a second-year student of mathematics at St. Stephen's College. They're joining us now. Thank you all very much for being with us. Chandan Mitra, a quick reaction from you first on those remarks made by the head of the Congress party, the Congress chief in Andhra Pradesh. Women shouldn't be allowed to roam around at midnight. It's all very well that we won our independence at midnight, but women can't be allowed. He seems to be missing the plot entirely.
Well, I'm not surprised. You see, I'm not surprised on two counts. One, it's a somewhat typical male chauvinist attitude, and we have seen many such remarks being made in different times by various leaders, responsible and irresponsible. But I'm shocked that at this point of time, seeing the kind of rage, not just in Delhi, but almost every other part of the country, that a senior leader of the ruling party, both in Andhra Pradesh and the centre, should be so insensitive as to make an snide remark of this nature that women should not roam around at midnight. Of course, it is kind of a piece with what the Delhi Chief Minister said a couple of years ago, saying that women should not move around at 2 a.m. or drive their cars at 2 a.m. It's a failure to recognize that women today are in every walk of life and they are holding responsible jobs, and they are, if you want equality for women, they have to work the same hours and with the same responsibility as men. And if men can go home at 2 o'clock and not feel insecure, women must also be provided the security to be able to move around at midnight or 2 a.m. because their job demands. Nobody is doing it out of fun or leisure deliberately.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display. Full screen view. faster response time, and Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.